Today I'm going to show you how to install the NDCore framework created by Andy. It comes with essential add-on resources that are easy to set up. Use the documentation link in the description for guides and more information about those in the background of the framework. I hope you enjoy the video. First, click the link in the description that takes you to the documentation. You can read the introduction for background information on the framework, view the installation steps, view player and admin commands, view the add-on resources with installation and configuration guides, and view developer documentation. You can install by using the txAdmin recipe or doing a manual installation. The recipe method is recommended and easier since everything is installed for you. For that, the first steps are downloading the latest artifacts and MariaDB. So click from the documentation. Once the new tab opens, make sure your operating system is selected and click Download. Once it's done, open it up. And in the pop-up, click Next. Agree to the terms and click Next. Click Next again. If you don't want to use a password, unselect the option and click Next. Click Next again, then click Install. Once it's done, click Finish. For the artifacts, create a folder for the server. Then create another folder inside. I'm going to call it Artifacts. Once that's created, leave it open and go back to the documentation and choose the artifact version for what you use. When that window opens up, ignore the buttons at the top and click the number below to start the download. Once it's done, open it up and use Ctrl and A to select all of it and drag it over. Next, find FX Server and click it. If you see this pop up, click More Info and Run anyway. Once it's open, there'll be numbers and a new tab for txAdmin. Be sure the numbers match and click Link Account. Then create a backup password and agree to the terms. Then create your server name and click Next. For the deployment type, choose Remote URL Template. Then go back to the documentation under Step 4 and choose between Main, Light, or Legacy depending on what you want. Then copy the link below it, go back, paste the link, and click Next. The data location is automatically detected, so click Save, then go to Recipe Deployer. Once that loads, click Next. Then you need to enter your license key, so go to Keymaster and New Server. Then enter a name and click Generate. Then copy the key, go back and paste. Then click Run Recipe. Once that's done, click Next, then Save and Run Server. There are some errors showing up. To fix them, open Heidi SQL. Click Open and you should see a section for NDCore. Then go back to txAdmin and restart the server. After that, you can join the server to test it out. If this video was helpful, consider supporting my work by ordering a VPS or transferring your current one of One of One service using the link below. Created by the team behind Project Sloth, One of One service is a top VPS provider for popular FiveM servers delivering unmatched uptime and performance. They offer the best DDoS protection, super fast 10 gigabit per second internet speed, and exceptional support via Discord and tickets, with 96% of tickets answered in under 30 minutes. With locations in Dallas, Ashburn, Chicago, and Europe, they ensure low latency and top-tier reliability. I will be going over the configuration options for the add-on resources and how everything is structured. If you go to where the framework was installed, you'll see there are multiple configuration files, starting with the inventory. Aux inventory is used, and here's the configuration for that. Each option has commented out text, so go through and change it to your liking. Next is the NDCore config. The first thing is your server name, followed by options for Discord like the invite link, rich presence settings, and getting user roles. There's also an option to make joining your Discord a requirement to join your server. Below that are options for the character identifier, vehicles, and vehicle keys. The next section is for setting admins. You can add their identifier or use Discord role IDs for access. Then there's an option for group roles, again using Discord roles and their IDs. Next are compatibility options, followed by the groups, which are jobs and gangs. Each option here has commented out text that explains what it is, so be sure to read through on your own and make the changes you like. If you want to use the Discord options, I left a link in the description that explains setting up the bot. The resources config is where you start resources and contains the add-ons that came with the recipe. And the server config has more settings for the logo, name, players, and so on. If you go back and into the resources folder, then into the scripts folder, you'll find the add-on resources. Each will have a brief showcase after. There are previews available in the documentation along with install guides. Starting with the ambulance job, the inventory folder has the items and images for the job, so I'll go ahead and open it up. I'm going to open another file explorer to make it easier and find aux inventory. Be sure to keep it open throughout the process. Once you've done that, open the web folder and open the images folder. Then in the ambulance shop folder, open the images folder and add them over. Then in the ambulance shop folder, open the items.lua and use Ctrl and A to highlight and copy them all. Then go back to the aux inventory folder, open the data folder and open the items.lua. Then scroll down and paste what you copied. In the data folder of the ambulance shops are the options for configuration. You can go through and change if you wish. The death section has options for the respawn timer, keybind, losing items on respawn, damage and intervals, and the prices for healing. It also has locations for respawning and the pets to get treated. The weapons section has the weapons and options for bleeding, burns, fracturing, severity, and the injury type. And the jobs.lua has groups that can check other players' injuries. There are 3 preset hospital locations around the map that have pets to get treated. The army items with their prices can be changed in aux inventory shops.lua. Once you have a med bag, it'll show up in your hands. Use it and it'll be placed on the ground. Then you have options to pick it up or open it. When opened, there are items used to treat players based on the severity of their injuries. Once you use the stretcher item and interact, you can move it and lower or raise it. You can also place it in the back of the ambulance. This is the death screen. After some time, players can send a distress signal which shows up in the MDT. You can then click to attach to the call, which changes your status, and of course detach. To see player interaction or miss features, check out the preview from the documentation. The next one is the appearance shops, so open it up and open the config. In here are the clothing, tattoo, and barber shops. Each one has the price, text, blip settings, appearance options, and locations with pets. Change if you wish following the format of the preset options. If you open the map, you'll see blips for the tattoo, barber, and clothing shops. Each have a pet to interact with. Once you do, you'll be put in the menu for that shop with its appearance options, and of course cycle through to make the changes. In the clothing store, you can interact with the pet to save or view your saved outfits as well. The next one is the banking, so open it up and open the config. The first options are amounts that can be withdrawn or deposited into ATMs, followed by the minimum and maximum withdrawal amounts at the bank. When you go to the bank and interact with the pet, the interface comes up. On the home screen, you have your banking information with the current amount, card number, and player name. On the right side, you have the transaction history, and at the bottom are options to deposit or withdraw. When trying to do that, be mindful of the limits set in the config, or it won't let you. In the Invoices tab, you can create an invoice by entering the person's account, the amount, and the amount of days they have to pay. And on the right side, you can see invoice requests, unpaid and paid invoices, and the ones you've sent. You can also pay them directly from here. In the last section, you can transfer money by entering the person's account number, the amount, and an optional note. When you interact with the ATMs, there's an animation, and the set amounts from the config are shown. So I'll click one and click withdraw, and the cash is added to the inventory. The next one is Blackjack, so open it up and open the config. And here you can create or edit the tables. Each has the dealer and tables position and heading, prop, color which has a key at the top, minimum, maximum step, and an option for it to be VIP only. When you enter the casino, go to the cashier, and once you interact, you can buy chips, trade them in, or purchase a membership. It's $5 for each chip, which can be edited in the prices section of the casino script. Once you have the chips, head back to the Blackjack tables and press E to start the game. Then place your bet. There are controls on the screen for increasing, decreasing, and placing a custom bet. Once you place a bet, there's a timer, then the game starts, and your amount and the dealer's amount are displayed at the bottom of the screen. Then you have more controls to hit or stand. Once the game's over, you can leave the table or continue playing. The next one is the casino, so open it up, and there is an item to add, so open the README and copy the item. Then go back to the items.lua and paste what you copied. There's a link to the image in the README, so you can download and add it to the aux inventory images folder. The data folder has options for configuration. The clothing section creates a clothing store in the casino with options like the stores in the appearance shops resource. The parking section has valet and regular spots. The prices section has the price for chips and the price for memberships, separated with the label, how long they last, and the price. And the teleport section has the locations with text, chords, range, and where it takes the player. At the casino, you can valet your vehicle and when you're done have it brought back to you, or park it yourself. Once you're inside the casino, you can change your clothes, see the cashier to get chips, trade them in, or purchase a membership, and play Blackjack. The lucky wheel and slot machines are on the creator's TabX if you want more activities. The next one is the characters, so open it up. And the images folder has backgrounds and a logo for the screen. In the data folder, the configuration section has options for a command to change the character. You can set it to false to disable it. Then there's an option for the max amount of characters a player can have, the logo, the backgrounds which cycle, and the starting amounts of money for the character. The permission section has groups the players can select when they create the character. The commented out text has information on the changes for this. The salary section has the pay for jobs with options to enable or disable it, the interval, and the amount. And the spawns section has the default spawns for players and spawns for players with a certain job. Once you load into the server, you'll be on the character screen. It has the logo, server name, background, and options to create a character or exit the game. So I'll go ahead and create a character. There it also shows the available character slots. When you click, the section to input the character's information comes up, so I'll go ahead and fill that out. Here's where you can select a group, which is set up in the NDCore config. I had them all set to 0 in the permissions section, so any can be selected. Once you click Create Character, it'll be displayed, and there are options to edit or delete it. Once you click the character, the spawn menu appears. It has the default spawns and the spawns for the group selected, which are the fire station locations. There's also an option to skip teleporting and last location. Once you spawn in, you get the creation menu for your character. So I'll change the ped. And you can go through the customizations. I'm just going to save it for now. If you have the change character command enabled, once it's used, it takes you back to the character screen for you to switch. There you can see your created characters, edit or delete it, or make a new character. The next one is the dealership, so open it up and open the data folder. The dealership section has the name of the dealership with its showroom categories and categories available, blip settings, groups and what they're able to do, head model and chords, and vehicle chords for interaction. It also has the showroom locations and the spawns. There are group or job-based dealerships in here, so if you want to create more, use the preset ones as a template. The vehicles section has the vehicle split into categories with their model name and price. If your dealership is a blank space, you'll need to install Bob74 IPL or configure the vehicles to the map of your choice. Once you interact with the car, you can test drive, switch the vehicle, or purchase it. Once you click switch, a menu will pop up with the vehicles separated into their classes or categories. Use the up and down arrow keys to cycle through the classes, and the left and right keys to cycle through the vehicles in each class. Once you find one you like, click enter and the vehicle will swap, then interact again to test drive or purchase. Once you click test drive, you'll be teleported and you can drive around or press F to leave it, which brings you back to the dealership. Once you click purchase, the vehicle's amount is displayed and there's an option to send it to a garage. If you do that, there's a notification letting you know it was successful. And at the garage, interact with the ped and you'll see the vehicle and its information. If you don't, you get keys to the vehicle and there's a notification letting you know the vehicle's outside. You can unlock the vehicle by double-clicking E or by using the key from the inventory. You can also open the trunk by right-clicking the key item and selecting the trunk option. There's also a blip created for the vehicle. At the plane shop, interact with the ped and the menu appears. Then cycle through and choose a plane. Once you do, you are teleported and have options to leave, test drive, or purchase. The test driving and purchasing options are the same as before. The next one is the MDT, so open it up and open the README since there's an item and image to add. And here there's also an export for how to create the calls. So copy the item and go back to the items.lua and paste what you copied. Same as before, a link to the images is in the README, so you can download it and add it to the aux inventory image folder. Next, go to the config folder. The charges section has the laws split into infractions, misdemeanors, and felonies. Each have the name of the crime, fine, sentence, and a description. In the config are jobs that have access to the police MDT and jobs that have access to the fire MDT. Below that are the vehicle blip colors for the jobs and a cooldown for the panic button. Once you have the MDT, use the keybind or the item from the inventory to open it. At the top, it displays the job in rank. Below that, you have the player's name and call sign, which isn't currently set. At the top of the dashboard section are buttons for changing the status. When you click something that isn't out of service, they display in the boxes below. The panic button has loud beeping and gives the location, the officer who initiated it, and alerts units to respond. It's also always displayed in the bottom left, so it can be activated from all tabs. In the name section, you search by entering the player's first and last name. It shows their information with options to view their weapons and vehicles. Clicking View Weapons takes you to the weapons section and will show registered weapons for the person if they have any, and clicking View Vehicles will take you to the plate search section and show the owned vehicles with the information. You can mark it as stolen or click Search Citizen, which takes you back to the name search page. In the plate search section, you can search vehicles by their plate, and in the weapon search section, you can search weapons by their serial numbers, which you can get from right-clicking the weapon in your inventory and choosing Copy Serial Number. In the bolo section, you can see all bolos or filter based on their type, and at the end you can create one. When you click, a menu appears and you can choose the bolo type. So I'll choose person, and once you select the type, the menu expands for more information to be put in. Once you create, you can see it by going to the type of bolo created at the top or selecting all bolo, and it'll show the information put in and an option to remove it. The report section is similar. You can filter through them at the top and at the end create one. Once you do, choose the type of report, then enter the location and report information. Once created, you can see the report and the information with an option to remove it. The live chat section is for text communication, and in the employee section, you can change the rank and fire if you have permission and change the call sign. The next one is for NOS, so open it up and open the readme since there's an item and image to add. Then copy the item, go back to the items.lua and paste it. Once you use the NOS inside of a vehicle, it'll be applied and 2 bars will show up. Use left alt to purge and left shift to use the NOS. These can be changed in the FiveM keybinds. As you use it, the top bar will decrease while the bottom increases. Next is the police shop, so open it up. And the items folder has items and images to install, so open it up and copy all the images. Then go back to the aux inventory folder, into the web folder, and into images, and paste what you copied. Then in the police shop folder, open the items.lua, then copy them all. Then go back to aux inventory's items.lua and paste what you copied. Then in the police folder, go back and open the data folder. The clothing section has preset uniforms, and there's a command at the top for getting the clothing in-game. The config has the police groups or jobs followed by options for the time it takes to clear GSR regularly and in water. Then there's the minimum and maximum impound prices and the default price. The evidence section has the ammo items that will leave evidence with their label, weight, projectile, and casing. The locker room section has the menus for the preset outfits with the name, group allowed, location, and options, which are the outfits. The shot spotter section has options for a delay to report the shooting, a cooldown, a radius, ignore jobs, and locations. There's also a section for weapons that won't alert and suppressors. There are blips for the vehicle and helicopter garages and the armory. The armory items with their prices and requirements can be changed in aux inventory shops.lua. When trying to get weapons, be sure you have a weapons license or it won't let you. You can get it from the gun store on Adam's Apple. If you go into the blue circle in the locker room and press E, it'll bring up the preset outfits. You can view your saved outfits here as well. The evidence lockers are handled through aux inventory. Once you interact, enter a locker number and place items inside. In the parking lot, there are 2 pads. One is a garage to pull out or store your vehicles, and the other is where you can purchase police vehicles. The process is similar to the dealership. And at the top of the staircase is another pad where you can pull out or store helicopters. There are some cool items like the shield and spike strips. Once you have the shield item, it'll appear on your back. Take out a weapon and use the shield item to make it go to the front. For the spike strips, face where you want them to be and use the item. Then target them to pick them up. To see player interaction or missed features, check out the preview from the documentation. The next one is the status, which has players' health, stamina, and so on, so open it up and open the config. For each you have the type, whether it's enabled or not, the maximum amount, the decrease rate in action, and the style, which has the color and icon. The icons for the player's status shows up when there are changes to it. In this case, the food and water levels are low, which affected the health, and of course drinking and eating bring them back up. The last one is the inventory, so go back to the documentation again and click inventory under the add-on resources section. The tools were added with the police shop, so copy the keys and lockpick items. Then go back to aux inventory's items.lua and paste them in. The last thing in here is to remove the default lockpick. You can use Ctrl and F to search for it, then remove it. That'll be all for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and a sub. If you have suggestions, feel free to comment down below or join my Discord. The link will be in the description. Thanks again for watching.